Landowners violated when property expropriated for bypass. Former landowners in Bradford say they feel violated after their property in Bradford West Gwillimbury was expropriated by the provincial government for construction of the Bradford bypass. The bypass will be a 16-kilometre link between highways 404 and 400. Bessie Deto and Jody Feo purchased the home 7 years ago as an investment property. When they purchased the property, they were told it could be commercially zoned one day. There had been no mention of the highway bypass plan. The landowner believes that the sudden eviction has had a lot to do with the upcoming provincial election. Doug Ford wants shovels in the ground before the election so that this bypass doesn't get stopped, said one of the landowners. The landowners are not against the construction of the highway. They wanted more notice and fair compensation for their home. The Ministry of Transportation says expropriation may become necessary to ensure highway projects proceed as scheduled. Expropriation is meant to be used as a backstop measure. The Ministry of Transportation states that if an amicable agreement cannot be reached with itself and property owners, the ministry then notifies the owners of their intention to expropriate the required property under the Expropriations Act. The expropriation plan is then registered at the Land Registry Office. A notice of expropriation, notice of election and notice of possession is sent by registered mail to the property owner. Because an amicable agreement could not be reached between the expropriated landowners and the Ministry of Transportation, the landowners hired a lawyer, who advised that it would likely take a year for any progress on the expropriation to happen. But at the end of January 2022, the landowners received a registered letter from the government, letting them know that they had 90 days to be out of the house. The landowners and the Ministry of Transportation have not yet settled an agreement of purchase and sale. The Ministry of Transportation has stated that its independent appraiser endeavours to inspect the interior of properties when preparing an appraisal report, and in cases where that is not possible, the market value of the property is based primarily on a review of the value of similar properties sold on the open market. As of last week, the expropriated landowners no longer actually own the property. They are still negotiating an agreement of purchase and sale with the Ministry of Transportation. The Ministry of Transportation says there have been 5 properties expropriated thus far for the Bradford bypass.